Hi guys, thank you so much for checking out our channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jocelyn, and this channel is all about you and your personal growth as a dancer. We create lots of videos about common problem areas within dance like connection, lead and follow, musicality, and lots of other different stuff. But for today's video, we are going to be focusing on balance, and we're going to use jazz as our style. So let's go ahead and get to it. My first tip for you is to start at the bottom. You're gonna wanna make sure that your foundation, your ankles and calves are strong enough to support you. There's a couple of different things that I like to do to make sure that that happens, and it's a part of my routine, is these toe scrunches. So you're gonna wanna put a towel or maybe like a paper towel or something, napkin, and just place it underneath your feet. Scrunch your toes like you're a cat or something kneading. And this will really help you gain strength in your arches. And another one is your calf raises. You can't underestimate the importance of raising up and down, just practicing pushing all the way up and back down. Really make sure that your ankles are staying parallel and not breaking out away from each other. You can also turn in, that'll get the outside of your calf, versus turning out will get this inside part of your muscle right here. So making sure that you have a solid foundation, whether you're turning or doing a stationary balance, is super important. That's a couple of things that you can do. My second tip is going to be making sure that you have an engaged core, and that's something that as dancers that you hear a lot, but what exactly does that translate to? Because whenever I was training, my teachers would say that, and I would brace like someone was about to punch me. And that's not exactly the feeling you want to have, because number one, you don't want to hold your breath, and number two, it's not so much as a solid core that's holding you in place, as more of it's the base that all of your other ligaments come out of, and you want to be firm but still flexible in order to be able to move with it. Because jazz is different from ballet. Your torso has to be able to accentuate different moves rather than just standing straight up and down. And a really good exercise for that, of course, is going to be your side planks. So propping up on an elbow and just making sure to get your obliques, because we focus a lot on our front and our back, but a really strong core is going to be a very well-rounded core, so it's super important. And I'm going to go ahead and show you something that you can do on this mat that has to do with that. It's also going to be beneficial for your ankles, how we were talking about keeping them strong, because as you can see with this motion back and forth, when I'm standing just regular on one foot, it kind of has to wiggle back and forth side to side like that. So there's that. And then I'm also having to keep everything still up here with my core. I'm going to pull my muscles up and in and pretend that there's a string through my spine up to the ceiling. I'm going to close my rib cage in the front and make sure my pelvis is not tilted down to the floor or doing anything weird like that. Once you take the mat away, you will be shocked at how different and how more solid that you feel on regular ground as opposed to standing on a mat or a towel or something else like that. My last tip for you, tip number 3, is actually going to be to practice in different scenarios, because if you're used to balancing in your studio and the great lighting, then when you translate that to stage with the dim lights and the spotlights, you find that it may be difficult to balance where you thought that you were great with something. So I would encourage you to try doing moves with your eyes closed, or facing away from the mirror, or in dim lighting, something like that, where you're changing the scenario that you perform the movement in. It'll really help when you end up going onto the stage after the fact. All right, so to wrap that all up, I had 3 tips for you today on balance in jazz, and we talked about making sure to have a strong foundation, strengthening your ankles and your calves with some exercises. I also made sure that you guys need to have a very strong core, an engaged core, and lastly, to challenge yourself to practice things outside of your element, because we forget how much we rely on eyesight when we're balancing. So when you take that away, it kind of forces you to focus on other aspects of balancing besides just being able to look around at your surroundings. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or suggestions, make sure to let us know in the comments down below, and stay tuned for our next video. Thank you so much.